Turn around. Tell me what you see. Hmm.
Why do I feel like this has been on for a very long time?
Ka 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 What's shaking, everybody?
How's it going? We are back once again talking about Ahsoka.
Episode 6?
What?
Yeah,
Already?
already.
I
There's
can't
two
believe it.
episodes left, man.
I know.
How are they gonna wrap this into a neat?
I know.
neat
And
little
with
bow?
it, with Loki following so closely, we might end up
Hmm.
doing a double whammy one of these days.
Oh yeah, probably finale time.
So that could be quite exciting.
Could be a
So,
long
guys,
episode.
let's get started.
Shall we?
Yeah,
We're jumping right in today. I like it.
I don't mind.
So,
You know.
episode kicking off, and we're traveling through
Yes, we are.
hyperspace.
Yes, we are in a space whale of all things.
Yes,
Exciting.
it is exciting.
You know.
And a space ring.
Yeah, a little bit of Moby Dick.
Yep.
There. You know, traveling through some space.
Yep.
You can be an adult about
I
things,
could be,
okay?
but
Like
the
it's
great white whale is one of them.
white whale. Cool whip.
Cool whip.
Yeah, we're traveling through some space. We're trying to catch up with the ring.
The ring.
The-
one.
The
one
one
ring.
ring
That they have.
that rules them all.
Yeah. Well, because it's going to bring back the Chimera.
Which is the Thrawn's ship.
Yeah.
Right?
It's really big.
Now, I feel like we're going to be jumping ahead if we start talking
Yeah, we
about
could
Thrawn's
be.
ship. So,
Sure.
which is not something that's abnormal for us, but
No.
let's try our best to kind of, have some sort of structure.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You know what I
So
didn't?
that we
But I
can
didn't
throw it out
I
the
didn't,
window.
I didn't put the board up.
I know, which is
I'm messing with you.
a big deal for us. You know, we're riding nerdy.
Yeah. But the reason I didn't is because it was a pretty straightforward, cut and dried episode. There
Which
wasn't
didn't make it a bad episode.
No.
By any means.
No. There wasn't a ton for me to throw on there. I figure we can remember stuff sometimes.
Yeah, you can remember
Right.
stuff. And I can wing it and make it seem as though I remembered things.
That's fair. It's fair.
So, 'cause as we know, I'm not the Star Wars information guy on these shows.
Well, and it makes it easier on me, really, when we're doing an episode that's totally outside of the galaxy that all other Star Wars is set in.
Yeah.
In Perdia.
Because I
Paradia?
suppose.
Paradia?
I think so.
Um,
I'm gonna pretend like I know. I feel as though a lot of this must be kind of new to you as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of it. I have some like general knowledge around bits and pieces of the other galaxies, like the pieces kind of around some of the stories where there was a species that couldn't be touched by the Force and things like that, which I don't think is where we're going with this in particular, but
No, I don't think so either. I didn't get that vibe.
no,
per se. From this episode.
from this episode.
Yeah. But so obviously the ring arrives before.
Yeah, and we do get some cool views of like the hyperspace travel and how it's kind of changed. Like it isn't that whipping star bit that we see. It's got more texture to it almost.
And it's kind of got like where the colors kind of flow much more freely.
Yeah.
Around the Purgle.
The Purgle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's just based on
The fact that I didn't call it a Nurgle
yeah.
is actually a pretty big deal.
If you know what a Nurgle is.
Yeah. Throw her in the comments.
Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming it has a lot to do with the fact that they're not just, traveling through that galaxy.
Yeah.
They're traveling beyond it. So it's just kind of a different vibe, which is cool.
So there's a little bit of dialogue that goes on while they're still in the whale,
Mm-hmm.
deep in the
Deep
belly
in
of the
the belly
whale.
of the whale.
All right, and it's some pretty interesting dialogue.
It's great dialogue.
Um, Hu Yang,
Huyang.
Hu Yang.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of knowledge in that guy.
Well, he's been
Like
around for a
he's
while.
got a lot archived
Yes.
up there, right?
Yeah.
Talking about the stories that used to be told.
Yeah.
Um,
The history of the universe.
yeah. Part 1, 2, and 3,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of cool because a lot of things come in threes in the Star Wars universe, right? Obviously the trilogies
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
3 trilogies.
Yeah. A lot of the entities that are in Star Wars come in threes, being like
what?
the father, the brother, and the sister
Yes.
and stuff.
Well, we always forget about the mother.
I didn't see much of the mother.
No?
No.
So
Who's the one that gets turned into an owl?
that gets turned into an owl?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm talking about the gods,
yeah, I know.
obviously.
There's a mother,
Okay, I didn't know
um,
there was a mother.
which this could be leading to actually, if the theories are to be believed. Let's go through that theory real quick. So there's
Theory time.
there's the theory time. There's the father, the brother, the sister, and the mother. The mother was wasting away in Legends. It's not canon yet, and wanted a way to continue that immortality because her family were immortals. So she did some stuff that she shouldn't have done.
Little
Drank a thing and bathed in some space, and
little
then,
off the book stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it corrupted her, and she turned into Abeloth, which is basically like dark side god, like just basically it'd be almost the same as it'd be the opposite side of that father coin, but she was imprisoned.
Hmm.
And so there's a lot of fan theory now around the presence that Balin is feeling and being drawn to is in fact Abeloth.
That's interesting.
It could be crazy.
Balin is rounding up to be a very interesting character.
Love him.
All right.
Absolutely love his character.
We find out. I don't know if it's been mentioned before, but we find out that he did grow up at the temple,
Yes. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Jedi
Yeah.
temple. He was trained as a Jedi,
Mm-hmm.
and then went his separate ways. But I feel like if we're talking about him, I gotta say, I feel like there's some sort of nobility to him still,
Yeah.
right?
Like yeah. And I know we've mentioned it. Like he's obviously not Sith. So, and even when he's talking to Hottie, he mentions, I trained you to be something more than a Jedi.
Yeah.
So he's not training her to be dark necessarily, but he is training her to be more than those things.
He goes as far as to say that he likes the ideals and the idea of the
Yeah.
Jedi Order.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't. I believe he even says it's lies.
Yeah, it wasn't enough based in, like they can say all these things, and if you get into any kind of political situation, like when you're out there voting for whoever you want to see sit on the throne of Canada, we're gonna call it a throne,
The throne of Canada.
or the United States, it
Just
doesn't
made
really
out of
seem to matter
just
who you
made out of
pick.
maple syrup bottles and
Yeah, oh my God, um, they all tell whatever they think is gonna get them votes, right? So like, whatever would draw people
so
into
there's
the
an
Jedi
ideal
Order.
set,
Yeah,
and often that ideal is not followed
right.
to T.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't want to get too political.
No,
here,
no. But that's the
But
idea,
that's the
right?
idea.
And that's what he's getting across.
Yeah.
Right, which makes him inherently like split down the middle of good and evil almost.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of good and evil play, and then not often do you see somebody that's in a gray area.
Hmm. And they do talk about gray Jedi at some points, but again, something that's not really been pulled into the canon at all.
Yeah.
So
So it truly
sometimes
is
people
in.
get all riled up when you talk about gray Jedi and stuff, but I think it's a cool and interesting concept, and Balin would certainly kind of
And I think at this point,
flow
if
into
you
that.
want to keep things moving, you're gonna have to explore things like that and
Yeah,
keep people interested,
yeah,
right?
because you
Things,
can't just keep playing the same story over
yeah,
and over again.
it has to become complicated at some point.
Yeah,
And that line has to blur, otherwise things are just uninteresting.
yeah, I would agree.
All right. Um,
I don't want anything to be stale, and that's often one of my biggest issues with like the fandom is that they seem to want, or a lot of them always are the loudest ones, seem to want just this is the story, this is how it's supposed to be, period, end of
yeah,
story. But it's not.
they're often the purists.
Yeah, but things have to evolve. You know what I mean? Like because if the stories don't keep moving and changing, then
Yeah,
it's
which
just
is
gonna be
why we're
boring for
constantly gonna
newer.
have haters, even for a fairly successful and fairly good show
Oh yeah,
like this.
yeah.
You're gonna have the haters.
It's gonna happen, and that's okay.
Haters be haters, right?
Yeah, hate is gonna hate.
Hate, hate, hate.
You're
The fact that we didn't sing that was actually fairly impressive.
welcome.
Um,
Um, but yeah, flip back real quick to that Hu Young Ahsoka conversation piece. I love the bit of dialogue there, and how, you know, Ahsoka feels like that she has to deflect a little because she's just getting annoyed with all
yeah,
of the logic that he's throwing at her in the conversation. And
but
it's
I
like, you know
think
what?
in a manner she's doing that because she knows he's right,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
right? And he is still teaching her.
Well, 500 years. I think mentioned that he's trained Jedi for 500
Yeah,
years,
he
like
might know a few things,
probably. And
right?
then she gives the on second thought.
Yeah, tell me one of them
Tell me
stories.
one of the stories.
You pick, type deal.
I love that it started with a long time ago in a
Oh
galaxy
my
far,
god,
far away.
so good.
I was so I was like, just that boyish glee
Yeah,
listening to that. It was magic.
and if you don't know why, then you're
Then you're
probably not a
probably, yeah.
huge Star Wars fan, and you're
Then
probably
I'm
clicking away.
I'm glad you're watching the show, but
Yeah,
you might not
you're
know
not
much
gonna
about
get a
what's going on.
great deal from it. So yeah, that was amazing. I don't see how anybody couldn't just fanboy out
Oh,
about
for
it,
sure.
or fan out about it. Yeah, wonderful start.
Yeah.
The eye arrives. They touch down and meet the are they the sisters or mothers?
They'd be great mothers, I
The
think.
great mothers
Yeah.
of
Or at least one of them would be.
yeah. They're like the all seeing, like the fate weavers kind of.
The three fates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much similar to something like that.
Or the weird sisters,
Yeah. So
which is the same thing.
it is nice to see them in like their robes and everything and all.
Yeah, I fanned out seeing the Night Sisters
Yeah.
look like the Night Sisters.
Yeah, because like we understand that Morgan Freeman, is it Freeman?
Yeah.
That'd be a
Yeah,
perfect
Morgan Freeman.
role, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I could definitely see Morgan Freeman playing Morgan Elspeth for
Um,
sure.
but obviously she doesn't look like that. She's modernized.
Yeah. Well,
And-
she's out there living in the world, not.
Yeah.
So we do get to find out that Perdia is like the home world of like that civilization,
Yeah.
those Night Sisters. So, which I thought was really cool.
Which means at one
touch.
point they must have left.
Yeah.
For some reason or another, possibly to flee whatever this big entity is.
Potentially, but I mean
Right.
that would have been quite some time ago too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And then they had landed somewhere else and just called the place, named it after themselves.
well, Dathomir
Yeah.
is where they were.
I thought Dathomir is what they were.
No.
What are they?
So Maul, the way that I kind of thought it worked was the Night Sisters came and kind of conquered that planet, but Maul would be of the species that were originally on that planet.
Oh, okay. All right, that's fair.
I think.
That's fair.
Tell
We'll
me
go
if
with that.
tell me if I'm wrong.
We'll go with that.
I like being corrected because then I get to read
And explore and reteach.
just fall into
Right.
another
Rabbit hole.
doom scroll
Yeah.
hole.
So
My wife loves it.
I'm sure of that. I'm sure that's true.
So yeah, Night Sisters and like creepy, eerie, cool Night Sisters, not Morgan Elsbeth.
Yeah.
She's cool and all, and I like her character, and I like.
But they're fond of her, and
Yeah.
they mentioned that she's done them credit,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been whispering to her, "Hey, come this way.
Come over here.
No, don't go that way. Stay in a straight line. You'll get here."
And she did.
The whole trip was just a straight line, and you could have just got there easily anyway.
Coulda.
That's what my thought is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go that
It
way.
was just next door the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Just down the road, really.
Yeah. Just take a left and not a right, and you're good. But yeah.
The bits around like kind of the relationship between Sabine and Balin and Shin and how that is working too is really interesting. Like Balin is keeping his promise. Like he's sticking to those guns, and that's really cool. I like that idea that that
That's
nobility
why I say,
and stuff
there
like
is
that.
some honor to him.
Because Shin, I think, would have maybe just killed him up.
Yeah.
Like just
No, I think that she's definitely, if the arc were to go further, I could see her betraying him.
potentially. Although I don't know, because some of the scenes, like even when he's talking about those different things that give him that noble feeling, like she still has that awe.
Like she's
Of,
still learning, and she's
like-
still hearing what he's saying.
Yeah,
And stuff.
which
right?
I think is really dope. I think
She definitely has much more of a feral
yeah,
attitude
yeah.
and
Well, and she's young too,
persona,
right?
yeah.
Like,
ready to prove herself to her master.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, so Sabine is being held as a prisoner.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. Maybe because they do feel like she's a threat, why she needs the cuffs as well as being locked up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Seems like a bit much, but maybe it's because they truly do see her as a threat.
Which she should. Well, I mean, she is a threat in her own right. But if she ever manages to harness up some real force powers,
Mm-hmm. Which at one point they try to give you the feeling that she's kind of gonna get it.
when she's locked up on Perdia.
And I knew it was gonna be some sort of a distraction of some sort.
Yeah.
Like I just assumed that somebody was gonna walk in at that point, and it would.
And you know
open
what?
because-
Actually, speaking of threat, the Night Sisters that are
Yep.
there, like, straight out call her a threat.
Yeah,
Like
she's dangerous.
She's dangerous
They could
and could smell the
smell
Jedi.
the Jedi on her, and I'm like, first off, when they said we can smell, they used a word that was like not flattering.
Right.
The wrench, or some sort of like the wretched smell,
Wretched stench.
or something like
Yeah.
that. And at first I was like, is he talking about Balin?
And he apparently does not have the wretched stench of Jedi.
But is it because he can mask that?
Maybe.
You
He spent a long time learning.
So
And had the privilege of learning at the temple where there was just wealths of knowledge. So
and like I feel as though him letting Ahsoka fall into the water rather than slice and dice her and stuff, I think that was more intentional than it leads you to believe.
Because he didn't want to have to kill the Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That could be.
So, and then he obviously tells Morgan that she's gone because she's not aware that she's still alive.
Yeah.
because somebody who we're going to
Somebody
talk about,
in mere moments.
yeah,
What a great entrance. Great entrance.
might as well just do it then.
Okay.
Just flat out talking about Thrawn.
Yeah. So the slow fly up of the Chimera is super awesome. And just the scope of the size of the ship matches so well with the scope of the ship
And
in
it
the
looks
cartoon.
good with its patched areas,
Mm-hmm.
um, with the gold and stuff like that.
And the fact that they're just like they're an all new breed basically, right? Like they've spent some hard time on this planet
Yeah.
doing things and
The troopers
yes.
look amazing.
What were they called?
Some people are calling them zombie troopers.
No, that's not it.
They're I
I
read a
want to
few
say
things.
night troopers,
Night
I think is what they're
for some reason, and I
calling them.
don't get why. Some people were. I saw a lot of videos that were titled, "Did the Ahsoka series just introduce zombie troopers?"
I don't think
And
so.
I'm not sure where people are getting that.
He even said that they've lost a whole slew of their numbers when they were going to send.
But could they be referring to the fact that the plan is to resurrect a certain amount of them?
Potentially, yeah. But I don't know.
And
Like it's
like
just not.
the sisters or the mothers of
I think that whoever would be like the lead, but they all talk at the same time, so I
yeah,
feel like it's all of them.
it's definitely a Fates vibe.
Yeah.
But some of their plan is to resurrect
Oh, for sure.
as well, right?
Why wouldn't
And do you think that Merrick was an attempt at that?
they? I'm almost positive at this point that that's kind of some of the foreshadowing that they were doing with Merrick was that he was a raised soldier,
Yeah.
right? So
So I think that's
it's
probably
fair.
the best explanation
Yeah.
that makes sense. That's not gonna really screw up too much of like a plot line, right? Like I like it.
Yeah, it'd be good.
So yeah. So I don't know if that's maybe where people are getting the potential for like a zombie trooper type deal. I think that
Be more of a gas trooper.
it's not going. I don't think it's going to be particularly a zombie trooper. I
No.
think that
Be like a smoke trooper.
I think Star Wars will steer clear of a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to be out there biting people.
All right. So, but the troopers looked amazing. Dirty armor, cracked armor, repaired armor, and some of them have that red ribbon around them.
Red ribbon.
A red ribbon, which just looks great.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah, they have a great look.
yeah,
These
their
troopers.
aesthetic is just awesome. And I think that red ribbon is probably from I don't know what to call them, the sisters or the mothers or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, maybe the ones with red ribbon are already like returned.
Yeah, possibly. Like
Mm.
they're definitely patched up in some way.
Mm.
Right. And then we have um the head trooper.
I cannot, for the life of me, remember what he is called.
I always want to call him Echo, but it
That's not
sounded
Echo.
something like that. So yeah, if we could find out what his name is, that'd
It's
be
not
awesome.
Echo.
I know it's not, but I want to call him
He's
that.
from the Bad Batch.
Yeah, I know. Completely different look for this character.
Yeah. Very like Greek, Roman kind of.
Or even like Egyptian
Or
almost.
Persian, yeah.
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 Right?
Or yeah, you know what? When I think about like 300, the Persian army kind of mask thing going on.
Yeah.
He looked dope.
Cool character, very assertive.
Mhm.
You know, got a great voice actor for that character. And like straight up like happy dying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's dangerous out there. Have fun dying.
Bunch of bad dudes out there.
Yeah.
Can we flip back?
Oh,
I think
definitely.
we waxed over the entry of Thrawn a little too much. But
No, I agree with you, but I felt like those troopers were so cool.
They
I just
were
need to
cool.
talk about them. So,
yeah, they were dope.
wonder if they can shoot.
I don't know. Probably not. Oh, you know what?
Enoch? Yeah,
Enoch. Oh, cool.
Captain
Enoch.
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 Very cool character.
Um, and I'm gonna say that these troopers can shoot because I was just thinking about it, and would they be? I wonder if there's any clones in there
Yeah,
still.
it's hard to say.
Like,
It's hard to say.
because they would have been decommissioned, but not all of them. I don't think by the point. Maybe.
I think you're thinking hard on it.
Sorry.
So let's say there's a possibility.
A low possibility.
Yeah,
Of
a low
clones.
possibility.
Yeah,
Okay.
they'd be older clones.
Yeah, so Thrawn comes down through the middle of them. They're
Mhm.
all kind of chanting his name,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Cool scene.
Yep. And then he says something along the lines of dreams, blah, blah, blah.
Dreams, blah blah blah.
And something along the
Quote.
lines of that insinuating that there's a new, that this threat of us becoming, a team is overwhelming for everyone type deal. I mean, that's, I think, word for word is what he said.
I have no idea what you're saying, but it sounds good.
So, yeah, he's very pleased with his rescue.
I love just the aura around Thrawn. Like he's played. Well, I mean, he's played.
He was voice acting
by the voice actor,
yeah,
Mickelson. So, but seeing him in live action and just he embodies the character so well. Not just the voice of the character, but the character so well. It felt like they just grabbed him out of the cartoon
Yeah.
and stuck him on the
Well,
screen.
and it has to because his voice is spot on because
Yeah.
it's him,
because it's him.
right? And he carries himself with such a professional stance, and such like his time spent there was nothing.
Yeah, he's
All right.
just like, okay, well,
Aside from the fact
go.
that there's a little bit of tatter on his collar and some of his uniform, it's as if he's such a strong person that this didn't affect him.
Yeah.
You know,
Like, and well, I mean, I don't know how much Thrawn you've gotten at this point. Have you watched? Have
Not,
you
no,
delved
I
into
haven't. I
Rebels
haven't
at all
watched
yet?
it.
No. A meticulous military genius strategist, like
You definitely get that vibe from
a
him.
serious threat to everybody all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can be, and I mean, he's still got a lot, obviously, a lot of couth when it comes to, war, even because he says if Sabine was told she would get this request, it's granted. Like,
With a twist.
yeah, it's a slight
Yeah.
twist. Well, he's granted the request.
Yeah, no doubt. You
Still
get the
needs to
strong
die.
sense
He still needs to find Ezra.
that he has and it's a two bird,
Yeah.
one stone kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'm gonna let her do the legwork,
Which she does brilliantly.
yeah.
Well,
there
she
is
doesn't.
something like we'll talk about that in a moment, but they're them reuniting and stuff, but yeah, Thrawn, you definitely get a
Way
sense,
to spoil it.
you definitely get a sense that that he's a strong military force and brilliant in mind. Even when he's talking with the witches, I'm just gonna call them that from now on.
The witches.
The witches
Mhm.
and stuff, and bringing up that Ahsoka's possibly not gone and stuff.
Well, he said until he can see her dead, let's assume she's alive.
We're going to assume that she's alive.
Because they're Jedi.
Yeah.
That's why we're just waiting for Samuel L. to pop back in
That's
somewhere
right.
someday.
That purple saber just lights up the room, and
you know how nuts people would go? I like that better be a theater thing.
I
Like
think all they
it
would have to
better be
do,
a
they wouldn't even
movie.
have to show him if at the end of something you just saw the glow of the purple.
Yeah.
People would go nuts.
I want it to be in a theater.
Oh
I
yeah.
want to.
Some things are too big for a weekly show,
Yeah.
and that's one of them
Oh, for sure.
for sure, man. So whether we ever get it, I don't know, but you know, dreams, dreams.
Where were we? Sorry, we got
Yeah, we
Mace
get,
Windude there.
yeah, we got Mace Windu.
So yeah, uh, Thrawn's entrance stunning. Loved everything about it. Loved the troopers. Loved the ship. So good. And even if you haven't watched Rebels,
It was still a great moment in
still
this show.
strong, like presence.
You get what he's all about right away.
Yeah, yeah. You don't need to watch Rebels to
Yeah.
feel what he is.
Mm-hmm.
It was dope. It was so cool.
So he lets Ahsoka go.
No, he didn't.
He didn't let Ahsoka go. He let Sabine go.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, he did.
all right, little character swap there.
Mhm.
And skeptical at first, she goes, and they give her a dire wolf mount thing,
A howler.
the howler.
Yeah.
Right. Which is fantastic. I love that thing.
I was like, oh, it's like a badass wolf thing. It's gonna be like.
Apparently, it has feelings.
It really does. I freaking loved
So the
that
scenes,
dynamic too.
okay, so it bails on her.
Yeah.
When the natives to this area. Oh, come on now. Come on now. All right. Are they not native to that
Yes.
planet?
Yes. Yes.
They look like samurai. First off.
Yeah, they had a cool look. I liked. There was pieces of it that kind of made me think about like a bounty hunter that I've seen for
Yeah.
some reason, and I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to. I was trying to think of the bounty hunter that kind of gave me those
I
vibes, but
I think there was a point in probably in the Mandalorian where we seen some bounty hunters.
maybe.
I'm not sure though. It's hard to say. She kind of doesn't do the greatest with her blasters.
No, not
And
not
then
spectacular.
kind of a yin to a yang. She's doing a little bit better with those with that saber,
Mm-hmm.
which is really good to see.
Yeah. Good action scene. It was tight. It's quick.
But the howler bails on her.
Yeah, just fully runs away after
Yeah,
it throws
she ends
her
up
off.
walking off.
And her little trackery device thing gets
Yeah,
busted.
all busted up. The cumbersome tracker.
That thing was huge.
Yeah.
Like, the tech on this planet is not.
Yeah.
And I mean, we know that the Night Sisters' empire was obliterated basically on this planet because they talk
Yeah.
about their empire and what it. I presumably it would have been like massive if they were at some point traveling to other galaxies and
Yeah.
establishing colonies. Obviously, it was huge.
Also, she stated that they were one of the first people to ride the space whales.
yeah,
So that's cool.
she's just out ripping
One
on
of
space
the
whales,
first.
which is I thought was weird just because they live at like a Purgle graveyard,
Yeah.
which was neat, but
It was neat, but it was like
sad
because
all these Purgles that
They're
are
just
on their
going
way
there to
are just
die?
going. Yeah, I was like,
But Balin knew that.
yeah,
So
because he's heard the stories.
yeah. So very
So
cool
many
though.
stories.
Yeah, not something I expected at all for it to be a graveyard. Just when you look at the planet and it's got that ring around it,
Yeah,
and then you realize it's literally a ring
Corpses.
of
yeah,
corpses and
bones.
bone.
Yeah,
So
it was interesting.
yeah.
We
But
should state that Balin and Shin were sent after them.
yeah,
After Sabine follower kill him.
and that's where it stated that hey, once they find them, kill them,
Mhm.
and then they're disposable, just like Balin and
Yeah.
Shin Hati.
If they're not back
If they're not
before
back
we're
before we
leaving,
leave, they're disposable.
leave them there.
All right. So
I don't know how Morgan feels about it. She seems like, she's pretty dedicated to Thrawn,
yeah,
but I felt like there was a little hesitation in her
you
when
think?
Thrawn just was like,
Yeah, they're disposable to me.
Throw
And
those
why
away.
wouldn't they be?
Sure.
To him?
But why wouldn't you want to keep a
A
trained
valuable.
Jedi,
Yeah.
fallen Jedi with you?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you keep that around?
So since we're kind of talking about Bale, I know that we're kind of going here and there,
Sure.
but when he's sitting there talking about and telling the stories about how he was watched the temple fall and stuff, a portion of his story where he says that kind of power is not what he's looking for. He's looking for a beginning,
Yes.
right? It really kind of makes you wonder what his true motives are.
Yeah.
Like, he's a very complex character.
Yeah.
He's like an
Because he's
onion.
not looking for, the rise of a new Jedi Order. He's not looking for the rise of a Sith Empire.
Like
What is it? Does
He's
he want to
more
be the new father? Like,
like he's not even really interested in Thrawn.
no.
Thrall.
Thrall. Stormbreaker.
Yeah, he's not even really that interested in that. But
No.
there's an outcome that he's looking for that requires it.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know if he cares if he gets left behind on this planet,
Yeah,
because that's where
he
he
seems
wants
to be in tune to it, right?
Sorry.
Like, he's hearing something, he's feeling something.
Can you not feel it?
Can you not feel it? Can you not hear it?
And obviously Shin's not. So what's
Yeah.
whispering to Balin?
Yeah. Anyway, the whole scene where what are you doing even? The whole scene where Sabine is comically or comedically walking away from the Howler,
Mm-hmm.
and it is following her. She kind of scolds it, tells it to go away. It walks away, and then just keeps following again.
Yeah.
Like, this thing is humorous. Like,
And it's weirdly attached to her already.
Yeah,
Which is nice. Oh, used the Force.
that's right.
Did you see that?
I did see that. Yeah, this thing likes her.
Hey,
Just all of a sudden.
Hey, I have a secret to tell you. Psst.
That was a great cover up.
Yeah, I don't know. Loves her. And she's not a big fan, but obviously she loves animals anyway.
So she gives him another chance. Hops on, scurries off, and then we find the teenage alien rock turtles.
Yeah.
You know,
So what's his name's dream?
they probably just took Michael Bay's
Michael Bay's
ideas
dream.
and
Like, you know what this would work in? Star Wars.
Yeah. So those guys are cool. I like
I
the
like
little
them.
scamps.
Yes.
All right.
They're adorable.
But the Howler wants to eat them.
Wow.
Right?
Why wouldn't you?
Licking its lips and stuff, being very good.
Yeah.
Right?
Again, Sabine has somehow managed to bond with this thing already, and it's trained to just listen to her commands.
Yeah. Little rock guys. I don't know if they're backpacks
I think,
or if
but they
they're
look like that's a part of them.
actually part of them,
Because when we get to their little caravan, even, like their homes are
Yeah,
kind of
they're
still
like
shaped the
nobody's
same.
like set one aside or anything.
No.
Like, we need to hide or whatever.
It's adorable.
They're just a cool little society and stuff like that. I've never seen them before. Is it something that's been
No.
present in the Star Wars universe?
No, these are new. I couldn't even figure out what they're called,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know that they've stated it outright yet.
I don't know. I'm going to assume that if you were to watch it with subtitles, you might get
Yeah,
something.
maybe.
It's often the way people find out things before they're even supposed to know.
I gotta start watching everything with subtitles.
Because every once in a while, you're not supposed to know something, but it'll say like deep. It'll say deep breathing, but it'll have a name. And it's like,
Steve. Oh.
and you're not supposed to know who it is yet. But or like end credits give tons
Yeah.
away a lot of the times, right? But um, one of the things noticed
Well,
is
even with that, and the people that generally do the work for me, I couldn't find anything.
yeah.
So I don't know what these guys
What do you
are.
mean the people that do the work for you?
Well, the people that
Who do you have employed under you to finding all this information?
I have producer Laura. Sometimes she'll find information for me. I have other people. You don't worry about it.
All right.
I got a lot of YouTubes to.
I just want to be introduced to these people. I want to be in the circle.
Oh. Well,
All
for
right.
you, it's me and
Well, yeah, I
producer
just
Laura.
call you up and I go, "What the heck happened?"
I don't work for him.
So you don't work for anybody anymore. Get
Well,
out of
don't
here.
say that while we're on.
Get out of
You
here.
say that after.
Yeah.
She can really
Yeah,
mess
don't
things
fire
up.
somebody until the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Click.
Although she did miss 2 cues so far, so
Yeah, well, that's, she's probably
she's busy.
been drinking.
Huh?
I have been drinking.
Where's the spoiler alert?
Oh, yeah. Well, don't put a spoiler alert up now. That's a little
We're at like end of the show.
pointless.
Just so you know,
Just so you know, there
there were
was spoilers.
so many spoilers that you
Okay.
just watched. Also, we had a theory
I put that.
that we
No,
thought.
no, she did
Oh,
get the
she?
theory. It was like
I'm sorry.
a
the
minute
thing's-
too late, but it was
Thing was in my
there.
mind. Okay, well, she's
Alright.
trying now.
Yeah, she's
That's nice.
putting in a solid
That's
effort.
nice.
I'm gonna give her like a B- on it.
Nice. That's
That's still a
that's
solid
a passing
score.
grade. That's
Yeah.
reasonable.
So this is our last time doing this show.
Oh.
Yeah, so these little
see-
scamps, they've got they notice her sigil
Emblem.
emblem.
I don't know. She's a rebel.
Yeah.
Rebel.
Because he's got one. Oh,
Everybody got one.
Everybody's got one.
Yeah, they were all wearing little necklaces of the rebel.
Yeah, it turns out
Rebel.
that they're part of the rebellion.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're rebels, all of them.
They take her back to somebody. They take her home
To their home.
to their little
Trailer park.
encampment.
It looked like a trailer park.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool little armadillo trailers.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, they're nomadic even, so like because they keep moving. So it's literally a trailer park because they're just going to pack up and roll out.
yeah.
Autobots?
Roll out.
Yeah.
So she is reunited with
Reunited and it feels so good.
yeah. I didn't know how to properly back you up there. I apologize.
Reunited.
With Ezra
Yes. Ezra who?
Miller.
I love it. Sure. Yeah.
It, starts with a B, I want to
It
say.
does. You drive over them even. You drive over them.
Bumps.
No. If I was going to drive over something, I wouldn't initially think bumps. I would think bridge.
Oh, Bridger.
Yes.
Ezra Bridger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that. That was for suspense.
Yeah. Oh, and I felt it.
Okay.
More suspense than I felt
I have
in
to
this
say-
meeting. What do you have to say?
I feel like she found him fairly quick.
It did feel quick.
Okay, and I also feel like they're meeting up for the first time in a very long time.
Yes.
Felt underwhelming.
Yes. And I think that was a consensus. It felt like too much like if you and I didn't hang out for like for some reason, well, we hang out every week, but if you or I, we were doing lots of stuff and we like caught up after we haven't seen each other in a couple of months. We were like, oh man, hey,
Yeah.
good to see you, man. Kind of feel instead of holy shit, pretty sure you were dead.
This has been her motive
Yeah.
for so long. She has been obsessed with it to the points where she made choices that were
Poor.
yeah, they were poor choices. Okay. Risky choices.
Yes. She didn't even want to tell him how she got there.
Yeah. And then she gets there and it's like, hey.
Hey. And he was the same.
Yeah. He's been stuck on a
Hostile.
hostile planet where he had to take refuge with little rock turtles, where he knows very well that a powerful person with a albeit dwindling army, but an army all,
And a trio of highly magical force wielding sisters.
and he's not at all excited.
No. He's like,
I respect him for being cool, calm, and collect.
but there's a bit too much there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little underwhelming. I could have gone for a little more excitement between them.
Even a quick run up hug.
Yeah. That's what I was expecting.
And then
Like oh my God, I actually found you.
running strong embrace.
No,
Even their hug was a little
it's
slow pats.
hey, little quippy joke. Yada yada. Why don't you come inside?
And it's not like Ezra's ever been like a Han Solo or a Poe Dameron. And those kind of guys, you could feel that from.
Yeah.
That's not.
Like surviving for them is like a joke.
They're like.
They're like they
took you
let
long
things
enough.
roll off their back like
Yeah.
that, and then they make a
Woo! Sorry. Something happening in the background.
yeah. We can't say
Um.
that's for the late show.
Yeah. See, that was more excitement right there.
Yeah.
Than their
Then
reunion.
Their
had.
reunion. Yeah. It. See, it didn't take much for us to get excited.
No.
Right. So. But yeah, it was underwhelming. Really, the only real complaint I had about this episode.
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't. Was it a deal breaker? No.
No. It was just kind of like you could have done better.
Yeah.
Right. So
Uh,
not a whole lot else.
Ahsoka, I believe, is arriving though, coming out of hyperspace on the outskirts. Right. I think they
Which
mentioned
worries me for that Purgle.
it. Yeah.
You know.
Because the Purgles are coming, and they're like, y'all destroy, just shoot them all.
Well, not only, I don't believe that this Purgle has. I think this Purgle has made an agreement. Hey, has this Purgle's made an agreement? I think to transport them.
Sure.
So I don't know if he's necessarily going there
Well,
to die.
I don't know, because being the largest and likely the oldest, potential of him just going there to be like, yo, this is my last trip.
Yeah, like I want to come on, join me on my death trip.
Yeah. I'm just
Right.
going there.
But if
die.
not, then any sign of a Purgle means to blast him out of the sky at this point.
Which is scary.
Yeah, so
I'm worried about
Poor
Ahsoka.
guys.
I'm worried about Huyang.
I'm worried about the Purgle.
And I'm worried about the Purgles.
All right.
What if any of the younger Purgles are just accompanying the old Purgle to his deathbed?
Yeah, they're going for a quick
They're like,
little
"Yo,
wake,
see you later.
right?
Miss you."
All of a sudden, they're getting fired at.
Yeah.
I hope those Purgle band together, take down the freaking ship. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. I want to see Purgles at war.
Anyway, they obviously know that that Ahsoka is arriving, or what they believe to be
well,
Ahsoka
somebody's coming.
is arriving.
Hmm.
And then I don't even know how this ends, if I'm being honest with you. And I just watched it.
I want to say that's kind of it.
I don't think there's really much else to talk about.
No.
But I feel like
We could talk a little more about, well, not a lot more, just as a statement, the depth that we get for Balin and Shin's characters in this episode
Yeah.
is great. Like,
and we better talk about it because there's
super
no one
excited.
to. We better talk about it because at the moment there's no one to stop the stream.
That's fair.
Because our producer has walked away.
She wandered away.
You know, she
Probably
might have
going down to
actually
like a C grade, I
quit.
think.
She might have actually quit.
Well, you fired her.
And so, well, I mean, it's a fine line. I mean,
But yeah, the depth that we get and the interactions between Shin and Balin. I know we talked a little bit about them earlier, but I'm really excited for these next 2 episodes to really add to that and see where
I
all
need
those
to know
relationships go.
where his motives flush out type
Yeah.
deal and stuff. Because I'm conflicted with like whether his motives are like decent or like,
Well, they're not great. I mean, he is looking for like power. That's
yeah, but I feel like he's looking for a different kind of power. He's not looking for the same old, what we gonna do today? Try to
and
take over the world.
Yeah.
You know, snarf. Yeah, so I feel like he's an onion.
It's got layers.
Yeah, he's got
like
layers.
a parfait.
Yeah, and everybody like parfait. So you don't like parfait? Everybody like parfait.
I don't think that's accurate in the comments, but
I'm the brain.
that would leave us as Pinky, and
I don't think that collectively we're Pinky.
I don't think that's accurate. But yeah, that was this episode.
Yep. Appreciate everything.
You know what? That's bananas.
It is bananas. And I'd like to say that, oh yeah, because we've not done that. So quickly, we're going to go with, why don't you start this one? I think I did in the last couple start. So if you can gather yourself for a moment.
I can't remember where I was.
I was at an 8. I think
I was at an 8.5.
An 8.5.
I love this episode. Funny enough, generally speaking, with other shows that are based around a character, I think generally I would have a bitch about how that character was almost non-existent in this episode. And it wasn't a problem for me.
Because there was still good storytelling.
Yeah. And there's still a ton of great characters.
Well, that's the thing, is that this show is not relying on one solid character. There are several solid characters in the show, which is why I think we've been scoring it fairly well.
Yeah. We did dip a bit there.
And I think some people might consider this kind of a filler episode. I don't think so.
This was like a character
this
building,
had a
world
lot
building
of information.
Like great episode.
I mean, you've introduced Thrawn in a fantastic manner. Like, if that doesn't gain you a part of a point, we're in trouble.
Where are we?
So
even with the disappointment of the reunion, which
I can look past that.
Yeah, which felt a little dry. I'm still gonna bump my score a half point to a solid 9.
Yeah. And for the same reasons, I think like we've kind of been discussing this through the banana rating. I'll probably be bumping myself up to an 8.5. And now if we could touch bananas about it. Why did you sound like a Mortal Kombat scene? Whoopsie.
Awkward.
So yeah, so we're gonna say goodbye, but I feel like we've been missing an opportunity through all this season to plainly say May the force be with you guys.
May the force be with you
Yeah.
always.
Live long and prosper, my friends.
Okay,
Quiet.
you're fired. Yeah, check us out next week
Yes,
for episode number 7. Hoping it's going to be great.
I'm very excited.
Check out our social medias,
Absolutely. We're on
And,
Instagram and the TikToks.
the talks.
We're on Facebook
Yeah.
in a couple of different ways.
Find us there. Often we'll force the producer to make little clips.
Mm-hmm.
Links are in the description.
Yeah.
So
Links are in the description. Remember to subscribe, like,
Remember to subscribe.
and hit that notification
Yeah.
bell.
Cheers.
Peace. Love you guys. Peaches again. Why can't you make this hand?
Peaches, peaches, peaches.
Why
peaches,
can't you do
peaches.
this with your hands?
I am.
I don't. You're not though.
I'm doing it.
No, it's not. What's the matter with your thumbs?
What's wrong with my thumbs?
Well, they go in. That's not a heart. This is a peach. That's what that is. Oh, this is a good show.